Okay, we're back. Part two of today. Let's jump into Premiere. I'm going to share my screen. All right, let's go into Premiere. All right, everybody, you should be seeing your Premiere that looks a little like this. Maybe if you don't already have projects, we're going to say new project. Let's just start right there. In new project, you have your file name. Remember, we talked about file names. I'm going to call this Gav. I'm going to call this FTVE 43. I'm going to call this project update. All right. Why is it an update? Why not? I'm going to save it to my documents. Now, where it says location, I would absolutely choose like your external hard drive as the location, because if your project file is deleted, all of the work is deleted. The project file is the reference where all of your work goes. Okay. And I'm not going to load a template, even though we have certain templates built. We'll skip all of that. I'm going to hit create. Don't make me a fool. Premiere. Okay, so now we are in our project. You might be in import mode. If you go to the upper import mode, looks like this, Phil, which I'm seeing. If you go up here to where it says import and go over to edit, it'll take you to your editing layout.
Oh, top?
Yeah. No.
The red bubble on the top. No, I mean the actual. Where? So, yes. No, just say create. And then I just say go to the PR.
Flow. There we go. Thank you. All right. It was just because you have a first project. Okay. So our project file looks like this. Remember, we're going to import footage. Notably, if you don't have your own projects that you want to work on, if you go on Canvas, I have uploaded multiple different types of footage. There's horror movies, there's a drama movie, there's a detective movie up there. You can download those files to work on. Otherwise, you need to get your own file types. You can either edit the movies that I have given you, or you can work on your own projects if you have stuff, or you can download on the internet and access materials. So that is why the hard drive is important, because I'm going to tell you, I have uploaded RAID files. So I think it's like 280 gigabytes for one of the films to get all of the files and the audio. So 280 gigabytes for one project, just FYI. But we can learn today without actually having stuff ready. If you need help downloading or getting that stuff, we can either talk after class and or on Monday after class. Okay.
How to download or import something onto this.
Great. So if we want to import something, we want to go into our project file and we'll import media. So now so either I can click import media, and then I can go onto my Lacey hard drive right here, which has all my media, and or I can pull footage from the computer's document or desktop. I know on my hard drive, I have GavTV footage here that I want to edit. Now I can either choose to import the entire folder, separate folder, or even individual folders here. So the lower right hand looks like you're in learning mode. If there is a folder right here, Phil, if you look at my screen, right here is a project. It says project. It's the name of my project. It's a bin. It says add your media. And there's a big blue button that says import media. Are you seeing it on yours?
Oh, yeah. Import media to start.
You click media. We're going to import media to start. So I'm going to import my El Centro footage.
Since I don't have any media, there's nothing there. It says 0 items. So
you don't have any media to pull yet. So you're going to watch probably for today. That's why our hard drives are important. Okay, so I've imported all the media. Everything's come in this. We've talked about this as well. Editors, I also wanted to suggest, if you at all are confused or anything, I have many editing lectures already up on Canvas for those who might want to catch up or follow the basics. It's all,
Kind of my question, how to like bring something in.
yeah, there's
like all the
multiple,
movies that you were talking about,
right.
how do I find those?
So if you go to your Canvas shell,
Oh, okay.
you go into Canvas into editing, there's going to be on the week one, it's going to say editing assets. And then you can click here. I'll show you. I could just show you. Watch this. I'm going to go into I'm going to go to Gavilan. I'm going to go to iLearn. Then I'm going to go into my video editing right here class. You'll see here. And then we'll go and look at this right here, sci-fi editing files, horror editing files. And if you don't like sci-fi or editing, or if you have a hard drive and you say, Tim, can I edit something? Can I edit a Gav TV news? You can come to me and I'll plug your hard drive in and transfer you something. I have so many files that I'm happy to give to everybody. But let's say you want to download these sci-fi files. It's going to come here. It's going to say, hey, refuse to connect. But if you click right here, it's going to take you to this folder. And then you can download all of these clips. Okay? Yes. So I'm going to go here and I am going to click download. Let's do that. I'm going to click download. All right, so it's downloading. But noting this is 228 gigabytes. This is going to take 5 hours. That's not quite as fast as it should be. More importantly, if you want this footage and you don't want to download it at home or on Gav's Wi-Fi, you can come up to me and say, Tim, can I have the footage? And I'll transfer it to you in person. It'll be a lot faster if you have a hard drive.
Okay.
It's, I mean, if you're in editing, you need a hard drive. I require that so that you can edit stuff. Now, you could find a cheaper one. I'm happy to work with you if you need an option, but realistically, instead of a book, it's a hard drive. That's the factor. If you want to do editing, unless you want to focus on single camera production, which is the other class. You don't have to have a hard drive if you're a single production person. If you want to be more focused on editing, a hard drive is necessary, unfortunately. Okay. So we passed that. So you can download that footage. There's a sci-fi, there's a horror film. I can get you a whole bunch of other stuff. Notably, I have imported. The way that you can import is you click the import, or you can even drag and drop stuff into the import screen. I can, let's just say, we'll pull this one right here. All right. And now we have this footage that Santi edited our video here. So we can see our resources coming into here. I actually want to open up this, and I'm going to open up an old file that we used last time. Oh, it's just loading. Yellow is okay. Media pending means, but remember, red means media is offline. We learned how to fix that last time. You get scared, but pending is way better. And remember, editors will definitely jump in here as much as possible. If for any reason you want to edit and we're doing a lecture over there, say, Tim, I want to edit, and I'll let you into here and let you edit on the computers without me. But there will be one of the 2 days will be a focused editing lesson, specifically answering questions. But there's a lot of resources online for the editing course as well. This is why it's a hybrid class. And it's dual listed with these other things. Okay, let's see. Our media is pending. It's still thinking. Let's go slow. I think it's because it's almost out of power. Okay. See, Bryce?
I've done a lot of face scanning already.
Yeah, for sure. So lost. Well, that's why we're here. Did you close it?
I just minimized it.
All right, if you hit the P again, it'll jump on, or if you hit command
I wanted to minimize it.
command T.
I wanted to minimize it because I wanted to go to the canvas and try and download it.
Great. You could definitely download it. It'll just all delete all this stuff. You Chrome or maybe there's Safari would be
Oh, so it's Safari.
okay. Notably, let's see, it's still media pending. Okay. It's gonna be one of these slow days. All right. I'm gonna tell you right now, I have little or no patience. So let's just say save. I'm gonna try to reopen it. And I'm gonna try to close stuff to give me some ability to not go insane. So let's just do, I'm just gonna close all the project, all the stuff I had been in today. Cause like I said, the Adobe Suite is a like RAM intensive program. Let's close Microsoft Word. All right, Zoom is open. Let's try reopening Premiere. Computers. All right, see you later. Yeah, you too. Tomorrow, yes. You have a much more relaxed day tomorrow, right?
I get to work with. What do you want me, if there's anything you recommend me working on, what do you recommend for tomorrow?
For tomorrow, you want to assist with cameras or
Cameras,
audio?
like,
Audio would probably be easiest, but that's all good. Hey, look, it's saying everything's offline. Love it. What'd you say?
I said, what are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow's in the acting class?
Oh, the acting class? No. Oh, tomorrow's the acting class, that's right. I didn't see the writer. How come my 4 editing files is empty?
You're what editing?
I was looking for the 4 editing files.
Yeah, remember I showed you that it looks like that, but you have to click over. Click right up here.
I'm sorry. Oh, right up here.
Right where it says
Oh,
sci-fi
right,
editing
yeah.
files. You got to click that.
I've done the wrong thing.
So yeah, you don't need the Dropbox, but you can just get downloaded. You can say continue to download anyway.
Okay.
Download should start sound. Say allow. There you go, it's downloaded.
Which one did you download?
You're downloading all of the
Oh,
files.
all of them.
within it.
Oh, okay.
So we can see that. Stop. No. Okay, so it's 244 gigabytes. That's a lot of gigabytes. It will be a significant download. So Gab's Wi-Fi is pretty good though. All right.
Still says stop. Is it still downloading or did it stop?
Stop here.
Oh, there. Reload. Doesn't work.
Yeah, it might not let us do it because this
Okay.
computer isn't proper. So if you get a hard drive, I will give you the files. So we don't have to do it that way.
Okay.
This is more for like people at home.
Okay.
Let's see, okay, it's doing it. It's probably the Gab machine. Okay.
Okay.
So we're not gonna work on that off of that today. You're gonna just observe and watch, okay?
Okay.
All right. So what I have here, remember, look at that, red. So how can we fix the red, right? It means the media is offline. Well, we can go in and just see like, oh, look, everything, all of these resources are turned off. And I must have saved it without reconnecting everything. So realistically, I'm gonna right click over here on this folder where it has all my media. I'm gonna say link media. Remember, this window comes up and it tells us all the paths, where to look. So we're seeing our file paths here and our media starts. I'm just gonna say locate. And basically pops up. And because I have this on and it says display exact names only, if I turn it off, ooh, I have a bunch of different options. If I select the wrong file, it'll import the wrong file. So I want to click on and display exact name only. The only reason I would turn this off is like, what if I accidentally rename the file in the root? That's why I would go and then find the rename and basically tell the reference that this is now named something differently. But if you connect the wrong clip, it'll accept it, but it might not be as long. It might be different. Definitely don't do it unless you're sure. I'm gonna say, okay. What's great about Premiere is it's somewhat smart, but it's like, hey, we found all this footage. Oh, boom, everything is now reloaded onto our timeline here. Okay, we see that I did this in the other class, or we did in this class, right? Okay, I'm gonna delete this footage. What's notable is I have made this multi-sequence. But Tim, how did you make the multi-sequence? I know you. Oh, that great question, Phil. So the way that I made the multi-sequence is, yeah, exactly. So this is our El Centro piece that I haven't really worked on in a week, but you can see everything's synced. Why don't we go ahead and talk about syncing? And that is going to be a really awesome learning opportunity. So I'm going to go into my footage and I can see there's Ruth and Sharon was the other woman, if I remember her name correctly. So I'm going to click and I can open up this piece right here, which is right here, and I can click and I can drag it onto the timeline. All right. So now it drops onto the timeline. What is notable about that? Well, I clicked and I dragged. But look what can happen if I click and I drag right here, I overwrote everything that was already edited back here. Also, what's notable is I can select which line of video I want to put it on. And the audio kind of lands on the first level of audio. Remember, video, whatever's on top becomes dominant, right? You're basically stacking images. Whatever is 100% opaque, you can't see through it. So you could turn your opacity down or up, actually. If you turn your opacity down to 0, you can completely see through the image. But audio, unlike video, audio stacks. So you're just going to layer audio pieces. So everything's hearable unless we mute the channel or change the levels, right? So we put Sharon here. Now, what do you notice about Sharon in the frame versus here's our preview and here's our program? Do they look the same?
No.
No. Why do you think that is? It's like cropped in, right? It's much closer. This is because we shot the footage in 4K, but we're working in so that's 4.4096, right? But we're working in a 1920 by 1080 environment. So 1920 by 1080. So essentially, we are pushed in half as much. Why do you think I do that?
Wouldn't it be easier to just not perspective when you're editing it rather than enhance it? But you would lose quality.
Great instinct. So, but your phrasing, let me tell you properly what to say. So with this image, I'm basically working in an HD environment because I know my export's going to be for YouTube. I don't necessarily need 4K. But if I wanted to, I could go here into my bin and say File, New, Sequence. And I could go and select a 4K 23.976 sequence. And then I can drag and drop Sharon on here and clip mismatch. Okay, what is weird about it? Oh, you know what? I think they shot it in 59. I'm gonna say keep settings. But look, she fits into this sequence. It's exactly the same image, right? That's because now I'm editing in a 4K environment. But me as the news lazy filmmaking editor, I'm actually realizing, oh, I'm only going to export it HD and no one's ever going to like be like, oh, there's not a 4K version of this. Why didn't you make it in 4K? So I'm going to work in HD, and that allows me to actually go in and recomposite my shots if I need to. And how do we recomposite the shots in Premiere? Well, I'm going to click on here and we're going to jump into this, which we haven't talked about yet, which is effect control. And effect control is going to be our focus of our editing lesson today, because this is really where all of the soup is made, or whatever the term for it, or the sausage is made. Okay, so look, first and foremost, we're going to look at motion, and every single one of these things right here that we're going to talk about have this little stopwatch icon next to it. Who knows what the stopwatch icon represents? Good, you shouldn't. Stopwatch icon means that we can adjust things with keyframes. So what does that mean? That means if we turn on the stopwatch, we will affect just a certain part of time of the image. And let me explain what that means. So scale is going to be the size of our image. So the scale is currently at 100% in the 1080 frame. That is why she is cropped. But if I take her down to 50, right here where the scale is, I clicked on the number and I can scrub up or down. I'm basically clicking and dragging my finger, or it would be a mouse. I prefer to be a mouse editor, but I don't have it here. Or here, Command Z is always undo. Okay. Or since I clicked and dragged the number, I could also just type 50. Right? Yeah. Multiple ways. There's multiple ways to skin a cat in Premiere. You could do it multiple different ways. What's notable though is I didn't turn on my scale. Oh, I didn't turn on the keyframes, the stopwatch. So when I don't turn on the stopwatch and I scrub on my playhead, that means I affected everything. So the image was scaled all completely during the entire clip. Let's watch what happens. Let's undo that. Let's watch what happens once I turn on my keyframe. And what you note is it becomes blue and there becomes a little dot over here. So I'm just gonna just like drag past the dot. All right. And now we want to go to 50. All right, looks good, huh? But look right here on the preview timeline, the effect control. Now we have these two diamonds. One diamond is shaded gray on one side and white on the other, and the other one's white and on the other. They kind of represent an in and an out. Can you guess? Anyone want to guess what I'm about to show you? Why do you think there's two diamonds? These are called keyframes, by the way. Yeah.
They're gonna be different frames for like an edit that even happens.
No, but good guess. All right. Look what happens when I drag the clip past the keyframe. Oh, look, it's still back at the original crop size, right? And we can see, look, 100% over here. But if we scrub over here, we're at 50%. Well, look what happens if I go to my keyframe and I hit spacebar, which is play.
Just social services in general. So I like.
Well, let me jump to my keyframe. Sorry. It was going to be way more dramatic if it had worked. Okay, I'm going to hit play.
Just a connection with another person, right? Kind of taking the barriers out of things that they may have been blocked before. And I think my college
what do you notice about the image?
Education and just worldly experience actually applies really well in.
Oh, you want to hit the lights? Oh, geez, it's pretty hard to.
Do you think that the Gavilan students have specific needs, or they're not able to meet? Like,
sorry.
Do you think it's specific to Gavilan or California or?
No, I think being here.
What do you notice about the image? Looks pretty the same, right? Well, guess what? What happens if I take this keyframe and I drag it closer? Now let's see.
So I like the fact that I've been able to connect, and I think I have a worldly view of what people may need.
Okay, we're about to hit
not
this
just
keyframe.
Financial assistance, but just a connection with another person, right? Kind of taking the barriers out of things that they may have been blocked.
So notice the
before. And I
number
think
right here.
My college experience, my education, and just worldly experience actually applies really well.
Yeah,
in
it's slowly getting
the LSIM
smaller,
basic
right?
needs service.
Which also means our image is slowly
you
getting
think that the
smaller. We're
Gavilan
basically
students
made
have
a zoom
specific
out.
needs
Now,
or they're not
It's far enough away that it's not really noticeable, but if we put it really close to each other,
Food assistance, but just a connection with another person, right? Kind of taking the barriers out of things that they may have been blocked before. And I think
so we can see the
my
zoom actually
college
happening, right?
experience,
It's just because it's a long clip, we made the keyframes really far apart. Let's see what happens when we put them like super close together.
connection with another person, right? Kind of taking the barriers out of things that they may have been blocked before. And I
Okay. So essentially what we did was we added a motion effect. This is almost like animation. So these keyframes
Kind of
allow us to
taking the
go from
barriers
there
out of
to there, right? We could do a dramatic zoom out. So our keyframes, the closer they are, the faster the motion is. The farther away apart, the less dramatic, less noticeable they are. Yeah, Phil.
So for an interview like this, how fast or slow would you want the zoom out to be?
I wouldn't use a zoom out.
Or
In an interview like this, I probably wouldn't use a zoom out, but if you wanted to use a zoom out,
just for an example.
for an example, yeah, this is definitely for an example. But if it was me,
they may have been
I would probably do something more like
before. And I think my
less is more with the zoom out, right? So less is definitely more. All right. So this is just an understanding of what keyframes are. And what's great, if you notice, there are ability to turn on keyframes on multiple things on our image. Okay. Also, what I want you to note about the keyframe is I can click and drag it. So I can change what frame it's associated with. So I can make it closer. I can make it farther away. What also is cool about this is I can click on the keyframe. I can say Command C. I can go over here and say Command V. And then I can go Command C, Command V, copy and paste. I basically copied and pasted the keyframes, and you can see now I'm making it like zoom in and zoom out. I can actually select all of the keyframes and copy and paste them wherever the playhead is. So I can like uniformly hide, or we can make this effect happen.
blocked before. And I think my college experience, my education, and just worldly experience actually applies.
We can zoom in and zoom out, right? And if you moved it, you could make it a zoom out instead of a zoom in, right? If that was your question. If I took the end, yeah. Look, yeah, look, I absolutely just moved your keyframe around.
Financial.
So now we're zooming in.
Assistance, but just a
Totally doable. Yeah, absolutely. See you later. Okay, so that is scale. That is messing with the perspective of the image. Let's look at the other options. Position. Okay, but scale, also notable. If I click on the icon and says warning, the action will delete keyframes. Do you want to continue? I say, okay. I basically have deleted all of the keyframes. So all that motion we made is gone. Thing to note though, is wherever your playhead was on, that is the scale that it's going to keep us at. So look, I can also scale it down past the point where, look, there's black images around. Like we can see the video black behind. But what's notable about this, remember I told you our video stacks, right? Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, I want to do this. Okay, let's move that up. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to just make that bigger. So look, I have a smaller video on top of a bigger video. And that allows me to, this is why you would stack videos sometimes. Maybe I would want to do the Brady Bunch thing, you know, where there's the whole different, look, I could 100%, I have done videos like this or commercials where I'm stacking different images. Let me just do this and do that. Now we're doing this.
So you just copy and paste along the line to get multiple images?
Yeah, copy and pasted. And now we can see that, look.
I fell in love with And
All right. Pretty cool. That's a feature.
The big video, I know it's a little choppy.
We're just playing back at 1/4. If we go at full, it'll play back at better quality.
I fell in love with tech.
It's also chugging along because at full, it eats up more of my computer's memory, and it'll definitely look good when we play back. But I always look at quarter quality because it gives my computer less of a chance of crashing. Premiere crashes. In fact, anytime I say the word crash, you made me do my hotkey, which is Apple or Command S, which is save. That's always a thing that you're going to want to do, is save early and often. Let's see, here we go. Notably, the thing that I have in showing you the scale option right up here, in fact, let's go back down. Oh no, let's do this. What's interesting about the scale, because I shot in 4K, I'm working in a HD environment. If I do scale in, what I end up doing is I'm reframing my shot. I go from a wide or a more of a medium shot to what type of shot is this? We should know this in this class by now.
Close up or medium close up?
More of a medium close up, right? In fact, here, let's make it a better medium close up. But what happens if you take an image that is small and you zoom all the way in? What's going to happen? It's going to be gritty or grainy, or there's going to be pixelation. Well, if we take a really big image and zoom in, we're going to lose less quality, right? It still looks pretty nice quality at this resolution, even though we're at about 100%, right? But if I go 400% into the image, what type of shot would this be? Extreme close up. We start to see some of the imperfections, right? We're starting to lose fidelity or quality. If I hit play, okay, and we're not, let's watch full.
That was all great. The
Yeah.
most interesting.
We're still 400%. It's not, the focus isn't that soft. It's definitely a much blurrier image, right? Well, what if we go 1,000%, right?
Is the audio not synced up? The audio looks a little off too. Maybe it's just.
It is it not? Let's see. I think yeah, it was off sync. Yep. All right. Let's just be kind to this woman. Looks like the focus was a little soft, but you can see, like, the more we go in, the more pixelization is happening. These cameras are actually, look here. This is like a good example of pixelization because it's darker. She was being filmed pretty well. But let's undo all this, for example. Look, so this is the power scale we scaled in. What else did you notice that, what other control did you notice I was using? I use scale. The top one right here is position. Position is going to be the X and Y axis of the image. So X represents horizontal, Y represents vertical. This is a math thing. But look, if I move my X axis, I can recomposite the shot based off of the X, or the X is horizontal. So I can make the image go over here or over here. This would be a pan, right? Kind of pan motion. But did you notice that I have this blue line right here? This is the end of the actual frame. So if we did this image, we would have black video right here. So also our subject is in it. So position, that's X axis, Y axis, up or down, right? And guess what? We turn on our keyframe. And then we make an animation.
There's housing as well.
What do you see, what do the Gavilan students take the most advantage of here on campus or also?
One, I don't think they take advantage. But I think it's most utilized is somebody else offering multiple. That's one of the others that are full.
All right, here we go.
So we not only have El Mercado here at the Gilroy campus, the food pantry.
Oh, it's definitely out of sync. There we go.
Because that also goes towards.
Okay, you
hygiene
can
and
see I made
transportation,
the
clothing items,
slow
just
tilt and pan out of the frame. Again, it's a really big file. It's 20-minute file. Let's just put them closer for dramatic effect. Here's our image.
for our food distribution, which is quickly going to be turning into our farmers market and card assistance as well. So I think that is probably the most
I made a
utilized.
slow pan and
The
tilt
next-
down. You could also do fast.
Have the mill card assistance as well. So I think that is probably.
Or you could do the opposite. Position keyframes is something that you can recomposite your shot in the shot as well. Something to think about. You could also do, you could do both at the same time. You could scale in and do the position at the same time. Watch. Let's go there and then let's go here. All right. Now we've added multiple keyframes. In fact, let's go right there.
Card assistance as well. So I think that is probably the most.
Spacebar. Spacebar. Also, the other hotkeys I recommend is J, K, and L. J. Oh. Hello, I'm giving you hotkeys.
October.
Okay, J. If you hit J once, it will play your video backwards. You hit it again, it'll play backwards double speed. Hit it again, it'll play backwards 4 times speed, and so on and so forth. It's a good way to scrub back and forth. Professional editors do that. K will acts as a space bar also, it stops. And L is the opposite. L plays your video, but what if I want to scrub through? L, now I can hit, if I hit L twice,
But I think what's most utilized.
double
is-
speed, quadruple speed, 16 times speed.
What's the difference between J and L?
What's the difference between J and L?
It sounds like they do the same thing.
J goes backwards, L goes
J
forwards.
backwards and L goes forward.
Yeah, and it's gonna play anywhere on your playhead. It's a good way to scrub through, like especially when I have fine edits and I just want I don't want to listen to the interview that I've heard 100 times already. I will like go double speed through my edits just to check to make sure all the visuals that I changed are good, because I watched the thing 100 times and I don't care to like sit there for 20 minutes to watch the video again. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. While we're here, let's talk about this. We have uniform scale right here. We're doing with our scale. If I click off uniform scale, it actually gives me the option to scale. Okay, let me turn off the keyframes for now. I can scale height and width separately. So if I scale my height separately, look, I'm making my image stretched basically. So I could stretch the image. I have done this on occasion to,
Old Godzilla movies.
yeah, absolutely. I have done this on occasion to make subjects look thinner. But also note that you have the ability to make them look less thin or smaller or whatever. Why would I do this? I almost never do this. You can do it like as maybe as a fact, like a special effect or a music video. I almost do uniform with uniform scale. It just means the height and the width are proportionally scaled at the exact same height and width. All right, let's go through this. We have got about 50 more minutes and then I'm tired of talking. Rotation. Can we guess what rotation would do? Oh, okay. All right, let's undo that. What's great is you can absolutely do keyframes for the rotation as well. And you can go how many rotations and where. Of course, we're gonna do like percentage, okay? So it's gonna spin 4 times in this amount of time. All right, are you ready?
So I think that is probably the most utilized.
That was good. With all the other keyframes happening, again, we can spread it apart so it's
The
You know,
next will
that-
be the
What's
mini
notable
frames.
though is, look, when you're gonna spin your image, there's gonna be a certain amount of black depending on how much we scaled into the image, right? So we'd have to scale in because if we're scaled out, we're gonna expose the black. Maybe it's like fast enough
the
that it
most
doesn't matter,
utilized.
but for me,
The
it would
next
bug
would
me
be
to
the mini
see the
frames,
black
because that
of our
also
image,
goes
unless it's like, you know, we could make the person, you know, let's go to the scale right here and make it 0. So now it's like, be gone with you.
So I think that is probably the most utilized. The next will be
This
the
is
mini
like
frames,
Superman, you know, when in the Superman movie, when they had Zod flies away into infinity, right? All right.
Can I ask a quick
Yeah, of
question?
course. Yeah.
Like in the sixties Batman series, they obviously didn't have Premiere, so how did they do the effects?
For the newspaper.
Yeah, like when like the spinning effect.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't have this in the sixties, so how did they do it with what they had?
Yeah. So like you want like a spinning newspaper
Yeah.
effect, right?
Yeah, but how did they do it without high tech?
Yeah, yeah. They would film a newspaper spinning. They would
Oh,
put it,
okay.
they would put on a
Like
circle and
literally.
spit, like literally spin the newspaper effect and then and zoom in or zoom out.
Okay.
It would be a actual physical paper to do that. If you ever see that on like Batman, Superman, or within the effect. That, or if they would spin the image, they would project the image and film the image projected a second time. So a lot went into figuring out how to do those without Premiere. We have the ability to do a much better stuff now. But yeah, we have things that we do now that would take days, months that we could do in a second. Okay, we talk about this now. Notably, with this, we also have an anchor point. Now, the anchor point looks like, oh, look, Tim, it looks like position. But what it actually is we are selecting an anchor point for our image. And the anchor point is actually where is the point on the image that we're going to spin from. So, notably, if we go here and we change the anchor point to the end of the image, and we look at the spin, oh, here we need to turn off the scale. Let's make it smaller. Notably,
that is probably
we
the
can
most
see that we
utilized.
aren't spinning from the
next
middle
will
of the
be mini
image.
frames, because
Okay.
that also goes.
Be quiet. We aren't spinning from the middle of the image. We're actually spinning from the anchor point, which we assigned right here. So that means we're doing a bigger circle, or we can adjust the anchor point to be more center, and we can see our spin point here. Okay, all of these keyframes I gotta like turn off. Okay, all right. So we can see that the image is, you know, here's the center point right here is our anchor point. So the anchor is basically where we're gonna lock our spin point for our rotation. Well, let's turn the rotation off or not mess with that. Anti-flicker filter. This is if you have flickering video. It shouldn't be a factor. It's really old. It's in here. Notably, crop left, crop top, crop right, crop bottom. Okay, who knows what crop means? Yeah, Silas. Yeah. We're going to cut out parts of the picture. Looking at it smaller, we can crop left. All right. Which means we are literally just chopping off the image. So then we can crop top. We can crop right. And we can crop bottom. So now our image is that. So notably, why don't we, oh, look, there we go. We've cropped the image to be just the head. All right. We want the anchor point in the middle. So now if we rotate, whoa, 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 right there. Actually, the anchor point is more on the end right there. Want my anchor point. Okay. So you can see we can adjust and just make the head fly, or we can make the head, you know, all that fun stuff there. That's our crop effect. Here's opacity. This one's useful, happens all the time. 100% opacity. 0% opacity. Or if we do 30, it's not very dramatic, Tim. Yeah, well, don't blame me. It's good. Let's put her over something where there's actually other video. Okay, there you go. Now we can see that this image here onto there, the opacity can come in and out. What do you think it's called when I go from 0 to 1? If I do my keyframe and I have 100% to 0, I just created an effect. What do you think this effect is called?
It's open to students.
A fade out, yes. We're slowly fading the image out, or a dissolve. Yeah, you mentioned this earlier, right? We are dissolving our effect.
Ability criteria for. It's open to the public, it's open to students.
Slow
pantry in El
dissolve
Mercado.
out, right? Or we can do a quick dissolve. Sorry, I'm just zooming in on my timeline. It's a bigger, okay. Let's see, let's go right here.
It's open to students.
Still super slow. Okay, I gotta zoom in is the problem. Okay, there we go. Let's make it a fast dissolve. Okay, that should be better. It's actually kind of slower. There we go.
Like it's open to students.
Still not that fast. Okay, let's put them right next to each other and see. Okay.
Open to the public, it's open to students.
So you can see that is a dissolve if we're messing with the opacity. Okay, we have our crop on. Let me undo this. We have our crop on. In fact, can I undo all the crop? See how far. Depends how many undos I gave myself. All right, let's just make it full screen. And over here, I'm just gonna get rid of all the keyframes. I'm gonna turn off the keyframes. I'm gonna do my scale. I'm gonna do my position right there. Okay. So without crop, we have opacity. And what's interesting here is anybody notice the circle, the square, and the pen? What do these represent? These represent masks. So as you can see, I clicked the circle and it gave me the circle ability here, which then gave me mask 1. Mask 1 is basically an area of the image that I can select and control. So I can, first and foremost, I chose the circle. What's great about the circle is I can click and I can resize it to make it an oval if I want. What if I wanted a whole, just her face, right? Like that, okay? Then what's fun about the mask is we can mess with the mask's feather. And the feather basically allows the mask to be feathered out. So you see how it doesn't have a hard edge? If I change the feather back to 0, we hit play, you can see there's a hard edge. The feather basically gives a dissolved out edge. We can also do our mask opacity, which we can control how much opacity is in the image. And finally, mask expansion, we can make it bigger or smaller just by choosing like, okay, our mask is going to eat up that much or this much. And inverted, if I invert my mask, look, I'm basically getting rid of her head and everything that's on, it's reversing the mask. So everything that's out of the mask is now in the mask.
Is that how they like, for example, in the TV show The Sopranos, the actress that played the mother died and they superimposed her head?
This is like super, yeah, this is a more basic way. Like that was more, well, it wasn't done very well, but in Sopranos, this is partly how they did it. They probably used After Effects more to composite it,
Okay.
to try to make it look a lot better. But this is like the most basic way to do it. Okay. But this is a good way to like, oh, you want the ASL person in the corner of your video, and you can mask them and put them in position.
Could you now put, I'm sorry, could you now put someone else's head on her body?
Absolutely. Look, because we did the mask, you can see, look, anything that's below it will come through the mask.
Okay.
So look, we basically put her own, well, here, let's put Ruth. Look, there's Ruth,
Okay.
right? It's whatever's below it, you can do it. Or if I invert the image, now she's on Ruth's body,
Okay.
right? I mean, they're not perfect matches yet. Time remap we won't talk about right now. So this is effect control. What's notable about your effect control here, and next time we're going to go into all of the effects, which we have all the video effects here, all adjustable, all the color correction, all the audio effects. But here, let me just choose a fun one. All right, look, I chose this effect, but note that I clicked and dragged my effect here. I could have also clicked and dragged it onto my timeline, but basically now I've added an effect control right here. So we had our motion, we had our opacity, we had our time remapping, and look, I clicked the caret arrows and it just made them collapsed them. But I have posturize. Now posturize is an effect that allows me to affect the lumosity on certain images. All right, so I can do this cool like effect here. But look, I will have keyframes. I can affect everything in here. I don't have to do that one. I can we're gonna go through all of them, but you can see like here's one that makes it look like a mosaic or pixelation.
And that's what they do for like those confidential interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. Blur is a huge one that I use a lot. Okay, so we still have this mask. What's interesting too about the mask is I can do a keyframe right here and I can do mask path. And what does that mean? That means I can click on the mask and I can actually move the mask. Look, like imagine I was like trying to keep someone's head in frame. The mask will literally move with the keyframes. I can actually go frame by frame. Sometimes we want to do that if we're like superimposing someone's head on it. The other thing that I wanted to note is like, look, I created another mask and I can delete the circle mask. I can delete the circle mask. I can, circle mask? Why aren't you deleting? Oh, circle mask. What are you doing to me? You're making me look embarrassed. Circle mask. Why aren't you deleting? Oh, interesting. Why aren't you deleting? Normally I can delete these. Oh, am I not selected on the right thing? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Mask 1, max 2. Okay. I was clicked on the wrong area. So I clicked on here. Let's go back to our opacity. Okay, now I did the square. Look, now I have the square mask. Okay, but notably with the square mask, what if I did the pen tool? Well, the pen tool allows me to draw my own mask. So what if I just wanted to chop out her body and her head is in a perfect circle or a perfect square? Notice that I'm going through and drawing a quick and dirty mask. I'm just, let's keep the earring, I think. All right. All right, I created a mask that's perfectly her head or somewhat perfectly her head. All right, do we like that mask? Maybe we would do some feather on it just to be cool. But who can guess what's the problem with this?
A couple things. For one, anything that's like on her head that's gonna go around, I feel like is gonna clip the mask.
Absolutely clip the mask. So that means the second she moves, look, and we go through the frame, right? She's not going to stand. There we go. She's not going to stand perfectly still. And her hair is going to be moved and everything. So what's notable about this mask, oh shoot, can I go back? Okay. What's notable about the mask, and I find the frame that I built this off of, I moved it for teaching effect, but okay. So what I want to do is then I want to say mask path, and I want to turn on my keyframes. So what this allows me to do, I want to click on my mask. What I can do is actually, I can click and drag the whole mask around to match her. But realistically, I want to go frame by frame. If we are, this is what like Marvel does, right? We're going to go a single frame over. She moved a little bit. So what I can do is I can actually, every pen mark that I picked, I can go through and readjust my image so that it matches better. All right. So then I'm going to go one frame over. Okay, anything I have to adjust? Okay. Oh, I don't want to do, let's undo. Okay. What?
Oh, no, sorry, starting this.
Yeah. So realistically, let's go over here. I could move the mask and be like, okay, let's fix it a little bit better here. I'm going to go through and, you know, adjust. I would adjust my mask. I can rotate the whole thing too. It's a painstaking thing to do this. But note that because it's keyframes, if I do one or another, it's going to slightly move and it's not going to be perfect. So when we're like cropping someone's head off and we want it perfect, you're going to have to go frame by frame by frame by frame. If you want to like take her head off and put it on Tony Soprano's mom's body and copy the light really well, it's a painstaking process, and a film compositor is going to be like, yeah, we can do that. You know, there's scene, you know, the like scene in Avengers 2 with the Hulk Buster armor and the Hulk. That scene took like 6 months to make, of just a person like that. Like 2-minute scene is like 6 months of somebody sitting in a computer and like compositing Iron Man's face to be the perfect angle and adding shadows and all that stuff. So we'll get way more into this.
Peter Gabriel talking about his sledgehammer video and how painstakingly slow it is, how they had to do it.
Oh, the stop motion? Yeah.
Stop motion.
I mean, stop motion is just as crazy, but this is like, this is the type of stuff where this is like digital stop motion, is when you composite and added stuff in so that it all looks great. Okay, any questions or comments? I'm gonna like stop my lecture today. If you want to edit or if you have stuff to work on the computers, great. If not, I'm here to answer questions. I am going to stop the Zoom.